Nintendo, what are you guys gonna be doing for the rest of this year and even for next year? Nintendo themselves claim that they do have a plan for the rest of this year for 2026 and of course next year. We have a whole leaked list of games that apparently are going to be coming out that I will talk about a little bit later because it kind of goes hand in hand with my point of today's video. And obviously I've talked about that leak a lot, so like this whole video is not just going to be based on that leak again, but Nintendo does have a plan. So what are the games that they could potentially be working on? Because as of right now, we know that the current release schedule is only a couple of games as of right now, like Splatoon Raiders, Yoshi, Pokemon Winds and Waves, Fire Emblem, and Star Fox. I believe those are all the first party games. Of course, we do have a lot of other, third-party games. But as far as that next Nintendo Direct goes, they are seemingly setting themselves up for a big one. A big direct. So today, I wanted to talk about the games that we are probably most likely gonna see, and on top of that, some of the games that I think we need. Like, the fans need some of these games. Some of these games or IPs haven't been out in years and years, and I wanted to bring up that list because this is the list where the leaker claimed that Star Fox was gonna have a new game announced or coming out or whatever in June, and guess what? The game is coming out in June, and it technically is a classic game. Of course, it's, the 100th remake of this game, but still, it was a classic Star Fox game technically, which apparently we are gonna be getting another Star Fox game, I think next year. That's a brand new storyline. And before we hop into it today, I would greatly appreciate if you guys could subscribe to the channel and turn on those post notifications. I'm trying to reach 10,000 subscribers. We're getting very close, so let's see if we can get 30 subs during this video. Anyway, let's get right to it. Okay, so I'm just gonna start off with the biggest one, probably the most talked about, probably the most hyped, and probably will be one of the most successful ones, and that is the 3D Mario game. I'm not gonna go too in depth about the 3D Mario games because I've talked about it a lot. I know a lot of other YouTubers love talking about this one because it is a good topic. I mean, let's just be honest here. My personal theory is that it's going to be a brand new Mario game, like a brand new open world, big 3D, whatever Mario game, just like how Mario Odyssey was, or Mario Galaxy, like that type of game where it's a big adventure. I think it's going to be a brand new title. I don't think it's going to be a sequel. However, if it is a sequel, I think it's going to be an Odyssey sequel, or it could be a Galaxy sequel. It's definitely not going to be a remake of anything, though. I just cannot see them doing a remake because it's been about 10 years almost since Odyssey came out, so we are honestly just due for that new game. I would not mind a sequel, though, because Mario Odyssey was great. Mario Galaxy was awesome. Like, it could be Mario Galaxy 3, because we do have Mario Galaxy 2, but I feel like they're just going to kind of go more into the open world style because open world games have become way bigger and way more popular since Odyssey came out. So I do feel like it'll be like a full, huge open world. I'm not sure if it's going to be like on the scale of a Breath of the Wild open world map. I kind of hope not because I feel like a Mario game does kind of need like different maps and different levels. What Mario games are usually based on, like having like the leveling, map system rather than a Zelda game where it's an exploring game. So obviously a huge open world map just really does make sense for Zelda. Now I want to talk about the second biggest game, the new Zelda game. I've talked about this a lot, so I really won't talk your ear off about this one, but I have to bring it up because it just makes sense to talk about in this video. Definitely not going to be like a Tears of the Kingdom level game. Currently, we know that we're most likely almost getting a Ocarina of Time complete remake, like a complete from the ground remake, which is awesome. It sounds like it's going to be a blast. I'm really looking forward to this game. This will probably be a day one pickup for me. We also had another leak about us apparently getting a Ganondorf game, which is very cool, very interesting. Now, that'll be more of a spin-off game just based on Ganondorf as the main character. And I actually have another video that I want to talk about with the Zelda stuff again, because there's actually like more news about maybe when we could be getting that released, because we should be getting a Nintendo Direct this summer. Typically, the big Zelda announcements happen around June-ish, June, July, the summertime. So if that's the case, this Nintendo Direct should reveal that new Zelda game, and it also will 100% reveal more. They're not just going to announce that one game because Nintendo have been telling us that they promise to give us these bigger and better games because of the Switch 2 price increase and because it's Nintendo and they're on fire right now, so they are going to continue to destroy and keep giving us these big games. Nintendo are just really lighting themselves up right now for a massive Direct. The next one is a game that I want to see announced. In my opinion, the odds of this game coming out soon are very slim. I think this game is going to come out in a couple of years, but I have to bring it up, and that game is another Animal Crossing. This one to me is almost guaranteed eventually, not anytime soon, but eventually And I'm just bringing up the possibility of this because this would be the type of game that would really juice people up to be buying a Switch 2, because the Switch 2 is doing well right now. But guess what? Because that price increase, and it's already expensive. It's already an expensive console, bro. And that price increase is going to make it even more expensive. An Animal Crossing level game would sell so many Switch 2s. But I kind of feel like this is more so going to be a game that will come out in like 2029 or 2028. Maybe even farther than that. I could also see us getting more spin-off games. Like Splatoon Raiders is a spin-off game because obviously it's not a traditional Splatoon game. And I'm really looking forward to that because I really love these Splatoon games. So I definitely could see us getting more spin-off games similar to that, where they're kind of taking a regular game and then making a whole different game based on the original, if that makes sense. We can also talk about the dormant IPs that the fans need a comeback of. Like Star Fox hasn't had a game in a long time, and they finally just announced a, well, kind of new remake game for Star Fox. But like I said, there's probably going to be another one coming out next year. But that is good news because that shows that Nintendo are actually thinking of the older games. One game that I 100% want is an F-Zero game. We have not had F-Zero in so long, aside from F-Zero 99, which was successful. A lot of people liked that game. So I feel like people would really appreciate a new F-Zero modern day game. There are so many racing games out there from like every big console brand, but I feel like F-Zero definitely stands out, especially because like the nostalgia factor. It just has a really cool aesthetic, and I definitely think that it would thrive on the Switch 2, because if we got a F-Zero game, I would definitely be buying it. I'm a big fan of racing games. Forza Horizon 6 is coming out so soon, and I am hyped. Like I said, I just love racing games, and the Horizon series has been great so far. So wouldn't it be crazy if we low-key got some sort of F-Zero game kind of similar to Forza Horizon 6, where it's in a big open world map, but there's still like races, there's still levels, but it's kind of like more interactive, where you can drive around the map, do these challenges, see other players, customize your vehicles. Now, that would be amazing. That would be such a cool game on the Switch. Another one is Kid Icarus. We haven't had Kid Icarus in a long time, so that would be really fun to get a new Kid Icarus game. I actually get a lot of comments about Punch-Out! A Punch-Out! Game would be really cool with the next-gen graphics, motion boxing gameplay, online ranked matches. I think this could be a crazy game, even if, bro, hear me out. We're apparently going to be getting a Switch 2 Sports, or a Switch Sports 2, or whatever you want to call it, on the Switch 2, or it's like some sort of big update for Switch Sports 1. We don't really know exactly what it is, but apparently something Switch Sports is happening. Could you imagine if they just put Punch-Out! Into this new Switch Sports game, or update, or DLC, whatever it's going to be? That would be awesome. And now, I also want to talk about that. Switch Sports / Switch Sports 2 needs to be a good game, because I feel like Switch Sports lacks in a lot of areas. Like, it's fun, but it just does not live up to Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort, in my opinion. I feel like they could add so many more features. I made a whole video about it if you want to hear like all of my thoughts. Overall, I just think that game needs a huge overhaul. We need a lot more sports. We need a lot more game modes, you know, like a different basketball game mode, in my opinion, because those are the type of games that people love to play with family and friends. So Mario Kart DLC is definitely coming out. That was pretty much confirmed by Nintendo themselves, that they understand that like it's important. So that's coming out eventually. And that, in my opinion, will also be announced in this next Nintendo Direct. Smash Bros could be getting some sort of announcement, because we did have a rumor about something Smash Bros happening. Not necessarily a brand new game, but not necessarily a brand new game. We don't know. Apparently just something Smash Bros related. So once again, I did make a whole video about that, so I'm not going to really go into detail about that one, but it needs to happen. And I think it inevitably will happen. We just have to kind of wait for it. Another Luigi's Mansion. We had very small rumors about Luigi's Mansion 4 coming out, but this could have been one of those leaks that Nintendo faked. You know what I mean? Like the fake leaks that came out from Nintendo themselves to kind of like figure out who's leaking stuff. I think it would be really great though, because we don't need a remake, and I think the best, most logical thing would just to give us Luigi's Mansion 4, unless it's some sort of spin-off game. Now, this is something that I could think they could do a big spin-off of, or like even a big kind of collaboration game where it's like Luigi plus another character or something like that, kind of just like spinning it off into some sort of different thing where maybe it's like a big open world Luigi's Mansion style game. I don't know, but something like that would be pretty cool. I actually do think we will get more Donkey Kong games, because we are getting a movie about Donkey Kong eventually. Donkey Kong Bonanza was really fun and really successful. I just hope they're done giving us Donkey Kong Country Returns. Like, let that game breathe. Let it just live on its own. But I do think we will be getting more Donkey Kong games. Probably not anytime soon, but I think inevitably we will. Probably another kind of classic style Donkey Kong game. And then I could definitely see us maybe even getting a Bonanza sequel, or just another original Donkey Kong open world kind of game. I feel like overall, we do like remakes and remasters and ports and stuff like that, but I think we all kind of do want just new games, you know, new ideas, new IPs, sequels to some of the big games that we love. Nintendo are just really ramping things up. I do believe we also had rumors about a new WarioLand game coming out, which should be really interesting. We had like very little leaks about that, so I don't really have much to say about it, but I think eventually it will come out. And according to that leaked list of games, we may be getting some sort of Super Metroid style remake with the pixel art, which I think a lot of people will be really excited about. I would also assume some things with Pikmin would come out on the Switch 2 here eventually, but I feel like for the next Nintendo General Direct, it's going to be based on the big stuff like Mario Kart, Zelda, maybe that Switch sports game. It's going to be really interesting to see which games they do announce, because not to sound like a broken record, but it should be big because of the fact that they claim that they have a plan for the rest of this year. So let me know, guys, what is a game that you want to see? What is an old IP that you want to see be revived, or even a sequel game, or even just a brand new kind of idea you have as a spin-off? Oh, and I also forgot to bring this up. Apparently, Nintendo are actually going to be dropping the Switch 1, not the 2, the Switch 1 in India in 2027, which is such an odd thing to do because obviously it's the Switch 1 and the fact that it's 2027. Nintendo Prime making a great point here, saying, yeah, this is going to ensure that the Switch will pass the PlayStation 2 in all-time sales. So obviously India is huge, which will give Nintendo a lot more money to kind of focus on the research and development side of the Switch 2 and all the brand new modern day games. So this is actually a pretty smart idea from Nintendo, even though it's very odd because it's the Switch 1 and not the Switch 2. This should give them a little bit more juice, and I'm hoping this will be able to give us bigger and better games because they should have more to pour into the newer games, if that makes sense. But yeah, I really wanted to make another video about this because we have more and more information, and I just really do think that this next Nintendo Direct is just gonna be one of the biggest. At least I'm hoping. I'm really hoping, guys. If it's a disappointment, I think we're all gonna just cry. I think we'll just cry ourselves to sleep, curl up in a ball and go to bed, and then have to wait another 9 months for the next one. But I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.